Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and I'm always so happy and grateful to have you join me every single week with either me by myself or with a guest. And this week, you get me all by myself. It has been an interesting week, and I just wanted to sort of share with all of you what was going on. If you are a first time listener, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us and being here today. The show is called Fearlessly Authentic because I was always a scaredy cat. I was always afraid to take risks. I was always a people pleaser. I'm a firstborn and I'm a Capricorn for any of those of you who care. But they do say something about the firstborn being a little bit of a people pleaser. Anyway, but if this is your first time coming to the show, the mission on this show is always to try to educate, empower, and entertain you because I think I'm funny sometimes, and to inspire you to live a fearlessly authentic life. Because in my opinion, what are we all doing here if we are not living our most authentic and fearless selves? And it's not that easy, which is why I love having people come on the show and talk about their journeys, what they've done to overcome their fears or their obstacles as they're growing as a human being, or how they have created ways to help other people overcome their fears or obstacles. So that is why we are here. So enjoy the show. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things today, mostly about change and uh, retirement and being of a certain age and in different stages of your life. And retirement is not something that happens when we're old anymore. And I was just talking all morning long about getting older and things like that. If we could also go on to YouTube and you can find me there so you can see what I look like. And you can find me at Jody Harrison Bauer. That's JodiHarrison Bauer. And then also please save, subscribe, share, all of those good things that you do on podcasts. We have a 5-star rating. I want to keep it like that. I love the comments. I love the emails. I love hearing from you. We are airing to 100 countries, and that's pretty crazy when I think about it, that all of you are listening. So I'm very grateful for that. So we're going to get right into the show because that's what you're here for. So again, my name is Jody Harrison Bauer, and let me tell you just a little bit about myself. You heard in the intro a little bit about me. But since the intro is short, a little bit more about me is that I have been working out for about 40 years, and I've been in the fitness business for 33 years. And that happened soon after my oldest daughter was born. I started working out and soon became certified in group fitness training. And then soon after that, I started training people one-on-one. And I've been doing that since 1989. And fitness has been the foundation for who I am, what I do, how I live my life, how I respect and treat my body, the discipline that I have, the promises that I make to myself, which make me, hopefully with every promise I keep to myself, that I stay more confident, I become more confident. But as I've been going through these different journeys of being in the fitness industry and getting married and getting divorced and figuring out who I am again. Before I got married, my career was not in fitness. It was actually as a buyer for a small department store. And I did that until I became a stay-at-home mom with my daughter. And as wonderful as it was to have that great opportunity to stay home with my daughter, I was really bored. I'm going to tell you straight on. I was bored after about a year. And I have 2 daughters. I had 2 miscarriages in between the 2 girls, but I have 2 healthy daughters. They are 29 and 33. And if you've listened to the show before, you know how old my daughters are. And, you know, my daughters gave me purpose. They gave me a new purpose. My oldest daughter, having my firstborn, gave me a purpose. But then after about a year, I was like, okay, I need another purpose. But I stayed home, and I sometimes felt a little bit lost, but when I delved into fitness, that is where I felt my power. I felt that if I didn't work out, I wouldn't be as mentally, it was more mental strength than it was physical strength. Even though I was getting stronger physically, I didn't realize until later on that I was getting mentally strong as well. So that's a little part of my story. So I went to college in Boston and I met my ex-husband a month after I graduated from college, and we started dating. And then I moved from Boston back to Connecticut, and we got engaged, and then we got married. And then 3 years later, we had a baby. 4 years later, we had a baby. So that's kind of how my life went. And that's how I thought it was supposed to go. And I think a lot of you listening could sort of relate to, we have a thought in our brain about what our lives should be like based on the way we're brought up. We either like what we see or we don't like it, or we want to tweak it a little bit. And I know if you're a parent listening right now, we all try to do better than our parents, even though they did the best that they could, and they probably did better than their parents. So we try to really up it for every single generation that goes on. So for me, fitness and health was very important. My parents didn't work out, they were active, but that's another story. I don't need to get into it. So my whole life has been about, I worked, I had children, I stayed home, I volunteered, we belonged to a country club, I was bored, I didn't enjoy the conversations, I needed more in my life. In the meantime, I was working at a gym, I was training people. So again, it was in the 80s and in the 90s when people really weren't working out, and I was working out, and people were looking at me like, what are you doing? Why are you working out? Why are you counting your macros? They didn't even call them macros. And you've heard me talk about this on the show also, that people kind of looked at me as though I was a little different. I was a little eccentric because I was weighing my food. I was counting my macronutrients back then in 1990s. Nobody knew what a macronutrient, nobody knew what a protein was, nobody knew what a starch or carbohydrate was, but I did. So the fitness part of my life, soon after I went from retail to being a stay-at-home mom, I got into the fitness world, and that's where I've been for the last 33 years, and I'm 61. So pretty much half of my life I've been in the fitness world, and I am training my last few clients tomorrow. Tomorrow, September 23rd, 2022, I will be training my last client. And it is very bittersweet for me. I didn't want to talk about this today because I knew I was going to be emotional about it. Retirement has a lot of different meanings. It used to mean that when you retired, you went to Florida, right? And you put your feet up and you were drinking, mimosas, Bloody Marys, pina coladas, whatever they were, by the pool. Nowadays, it's very, very different. And so retirement means different things. For me, it has been a really emotional decision because the women that I have trained and a few of the brave men that have come to me to train have all had an impact on my life. I have seen clients from dating to getting engaged to being at their wedding to now having their third or fourth child. I have had the honor of being in so many people's lives. They trusted me to train them and keep them healthy and get them strong and to reach their goals. And they opened up their hearts and their lives to me, and I will forever be grateful. And nothing's ever, ever going to replace that. So retiring from training one-on-one and having a studio is very bittersweet. One of my goals is that I want to be able to reach women more than in my local area. And even though I have a big platform on social media, I'm not, you don't really see me as the women see me in my studio. And I want to start bringing that more to you on my social media platforms. But there's a huge intimacy level when you're training your clients. They share things with you that maybe they would never share with anybody else. And myself included, I may not share things that I would have shared with anybody else either. So I want you to know, if you are listening, ladies, I can't even tell you how grateful I am that you have been in my life, and you have all brought some joy and beauty into my life. And I've learned something from every single one of you. So that's why the word retirement seems so strong. But I really feel that a very good friend of mine said that you're recreating, and that's what I am doing. And I've been very busy with this podcast and busy with my studio and busy wanting to write a book, wanting to write a book. I have not done that. So as hard as this decision was to finally put the dumbbells down, I told myself at 60, I was going to retire, and I just wasn't ready. So at almost 62, I am retiring from handing over dumbbells to other people. And I'm getting to be okay with it, but I am mourning it. And at the same time, trying to celebrate the things that I've accomplished, and with the women that I've accomplished these things with, and the relationships. Man, oh man, the relationships are things that I will keep in my heart forever and ever and ever. So at 62, at almost 62, we think that it's time to just, sit back and drink those pina coladas. But it's time to recreate. It's time to start impacting women in a different way. And I really look forward to that next stage in my life, even though this morning part of it is going to be hard. Like next week, what am I going to do? I've had a studio to go to for the last 12 years. I've been rushing to the studio. My clients know that I'm always a little bit late. But I think I've gotten better as I've gotten older. So my studio has been my second home. It's the end of a book. It's the end of a book for me. And it's the beginning of a new book. And it's also scary because it's what I've known for so long. But I have to have the courage to do what I try to suggest that you do every single week, and that is to live a fearlessly authentic life. So as scary as this feels, I also know that my gut is telling me that it's the right thing to do now, but I have to mourn it. And I tell my clients this all the time, and we talk about it on the show, that being aware of your feelings is okay, and sitting with those feelings is okay. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing for a little while, is just sitting. And a lot of my clients have asked me already, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And they know about a lot of the things that I do, of course. I said, I think I'm just going to sit and think. But it took me a while to get to this decision because I didn't want to let my clients down. I felt guilty. And it's not because I felt that I was irreplaceable, even though so many of them have told me that I have big shoes to fill. But it's more about, I'm leaving my children. I want to make sure that they're going to be okay. But guess what, everybody? They're going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay. And life goes on, and we mourn it, and we rejoice it, we enjoy it, we celebrate it, and we start something new with the joy and the love in our heart. So retirement is just a recreation for me. That's really all it is. And I'm excited to share with you what comes next. So we're going to take a quick break right now. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm Jody Harrison Bauer, and we were talking about retirement, something that took me a long time to come to grips with and decide upon. And I was away with my daughter in August, and she just looked at me. She's like, Mom, it's time. It's just time. Retire. It's time. You've been doing this for a long time. It's time to move on to other things. And you've made your mark in what you do. And, when I think about the entire 33 years of fitness and my life, it is scary. And I'm going to use that word a lot. It is scary to walk away from something you've known so well and that you're not going to do anymore. So I'm not going to go into the studio anymore. I'm not going to train women. I'm not going to get in front of a group of women and teach a class. I'm not going to do anything. But what I still will do is still have the foundation of fitness, but I will have more time to do things that I want to do now because I've changed. I've evolved. This was something that served me really, really well for all of these years. I loved doing it. But now, when most people think about slowing down, I'm revving up again because in my mind, I'm really only 40 something and not 60 something. So it's really hard. When she said that to me, I thought, okay, I can do this. I could do this. I could do this. And then I went and told my clients, and that was really very, very hard. And everybody had different emotions. But at the end of the day, I know that they were all happy for me. And I really appreciate that, ladies. You know that I do. And it's just getting, when we change, whether it's a retirement, so we're not doing what we normally have been doing for many, many years and changing, either changing what we're doing like all the way around. I mean, I'm not going to become a rocket scientist. I'm still going to be staying in this. I won't be necessarily in the fitness world, but I will be doing fitness will be the foundation for who I am as Jody. And I was talking about this authentic self to a guest that I had on my show, which I have not aired yet. And we were talking about how you can wear different hats, but still be your authentic self. And I feel that with the new things that I'm going to be doing, again, at the foundation will always be fitness. That everything, every challenge, everything that I share, everything that I do, the foundation's always going to be fitness and health. Because if we're not healthy and fit, then it's hard to do all those things you want to do. You need to have the energy. You need to have the mindset to do that. So all of those things are important. So they are the foundation for me to do and move on to the next things. So in that sense, I feel okay celebrating me, because there was a part of me that when we do change from one thing to another, whether, like I said, it's a job or it's a relationship or it's a marriage or it's a friendship. So when I say relationships, it's either love, marriage, friendships. When we move on or we leave them or we move to another place to live, we have to adjust, right? We have to adjust. We have to plan ahead. We have to know what we want to do. Sometimes we don't. I'm as much of a planner as I need to be. I don't like to plan, but I need to plan, especially when I'm changing right now. So it's exciting, and I sometimes don't give myself that break to say, it's okay, Jody. You did okay. You should be celebrating what you're doing. So I'm trying to do that with you all right now and celebrate all of the gains that I've had throughout the 33 years. And it's been a lot. Not only was it training my clients, but it was having the best fitness studio several times in the towns that where I was. It was training women to get on stage in fitness shows and having women win their fitness shows and getting their pro cards. It was me competing in fitness shows and becoming a 2-time world bikini champion. And then taking all of that knowledge that I had and helping other women get there also, and seeing women coming in and feeling broken about themselves and feeling low self-esteem, self-confidence, the same way I felt after my divorce, and then building up their self-confidence, giving them that power. I'm going to miss doing that. But it's like raising a child and saying, okay, I've taught you all these things, you can go. And I always said that to my clients, like, my job is not to fish for you. My job is to teach you how to fish. And that's how I raised my daughters. That's how I've raised my clients. It's to give them those gifts so they know how to do it. And then they get to pass it on to other people as well. So I'm trying to do that to myself right now, is give myself that gift of joy and gratitude, and to be grateful for all of the wonderfulness that I was able to be involved in, even Sports Illustrated, getting that's a whole story in itself. But if you are a first time listener here, I did compete to be in Sports Illustrated swim issue in 2019. I beat out more than 10,000 women, more than half my age. And I made it to the top 60, made it to, I got global coverage for it because of my age. I was 58 at the time, and on the cover of the New York Post, and I was on Good Morning America, and I was on almost every social platform. People were talking about it on, I can't even remember all of them. I had German TV coming here and interviewing me. So all of these things have happened in the last 33 years: divorce, remarriage, and of course my daughter's being the number one priority, and my new pup, and that I found at the shelter, so, and my husband, so, that I married 3 years ago also. So it's been a long journey. So now is the time to start the new journey, and I don't want you guys to be afraid to start that journey yourself, because I'm here right with you. So I think being scared is okay. I think there's something to be said about having a little bit of fear. For me, it works. If I'm completely confident and cocky about everything that I do, it's that adrenaline of a little bit of fear, anxiety. I wouldn't even say it's anxiety, more fear, like, can I do it? Will I do it? So that's why probably in the next month, I'm going to give myself just time to think and journal and walk my dog and work out and not wake up and rush. And that's how I'm going to celebrate myself. And then I'm going fast. I'm going fast because I'm excited to start all of my new projects. I really am. So I'm curious if you've ever thought about what retirement might mean to you, what slowing down might mean to you. And then the morning, MOURNING, not good morning, the morning of it all. And I think I've done it. This month of September has been very emotional for me. And I think that's where the mourning process has happened. I also lost my mom last December, the day after my birthday. And so it's been kind of a crazy year, a very emotional year. But I think that change, as hard as it is really good for us. And I think we all know that by now, that it's the struggles that give us the strength. So watching my mom slowly die, struggling through the emotions I had retiring, and now finding the strength and the joy inside me to start the new things that are the new me. And so when I was raising my children, this isn't who I was. This maybe at the core, maybe that was who I was, but I've changed. I'm not the same person. I don't think we want to be the same people. And I think retirement now for people means having your hands in several different projects, which to me excites me because I get really bored with doing the same thing over and over again, which is why I wasn't just, just doing training and just teaching classes. I was always doing something else. So, you know, having the background of retail and fitness, it, I think about how they sort of go together a little bit with, I was a buyer. And so my job was to buy the clothes for the stores that would sell. So the clothes that I bought were not the clothes that I would normally wear. They were, it's a, they were, it was a different kind of clothes, but it was for the older ladies, which I probably was one of those older ladies, but I wouldn't wear the clothes that I bought. But the clothes, when we buy clothes, we buy them because they look good on us and they make us feel good, right? Because it's all about the way that we feel. And in fitness, it's about the way we feel. We may not know the way we really, really feel, but feeling better in your body and putting those clothes on and then presenting ourselves to the world is, I think they all go together. Now, I'm not going back to retail. That is not something that I would be doing, but I am going to be writing a book, and it is going to be very interesting. I have been told by several people very close to me that I should be writing a book. Somebody's been telling me that for 15 years now to write a book. So I'm going to embark upon that journey. That's going to be a little nerve-wracking and scary, but I am going to do that. And also you'll be seeing me online. So I will be entering, I already am on various social platforms, but you'll be seeing me more in there offering a lot more to you. So I hope with everybody who's listening now, wherever you are in the world, I'm going to be able to help you now. And it's not just the women in my town. It's going to be women all over the world that I'm going to be able to help. And I'm really, really excited about this. And this also, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about all the different feelings I was having about retiring is, again, not that I'm retiring from that, I'm recreating myself. And I sort of have to get straight in my head with that. And I think a lot of people feel that way also, that, or they're retiring and they're just like chilling, and that's cool too, is that recreation. And I think a lot of women 60 and over feel that it's too late. I'm here to tell you it's not too late. Like, we're just beginning. We really, really are. If you have the energy and you have the bandwidth to do this, we are living so much longer. And I don't know about you, but like I said, I get bored very, very fast. So I could not sit around waiting to do something unless I was a world traveler, and I'm not. I will be soon, one day, but I still have more things on my bucket list that I want to do. And it's just another thing to help evolve. If we're not changing things up, so we have the retirement, the recreation, the evolution of ourselves that happens all the time. And it's a beautiful thing that we don't have to give up on. And this Monday is the Jewish New Year. I am Jewish, and I celebrate, it's called Rosh Hashanah, which is called Head of the Year. So it's the new year. Rosh, Rosh, means head in Hebrew. Anyway, yes, I can speak Hebrew, but I can read it. I can't speak it. So the Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the Jewish New Year. We have a different calendar than the Christian calendar that we all follow. And it is a time to set new goals. And it is a time to reflect on what the year has been, similar to our New Year that we celebrate at the end of the calendar year going into 2023. We celebrate it in the fall, and it usually happens at different times of the year based on the Jewish calendar. And I think it's very I think it's very, very interesting that this is all happening while this new year is upon us in the Jewish religion, that I will have the time to reflect, and I will have the time to think about what's in the future. And there have been times that I have not allowed myself to go forward because of fear. And somebody recently told me to stop thinking with my head and think with my gut, because I have a really good heart, and I'm not bragging, but I have a really good heart. And your gut really tells you what it is that you want to do. And 20 years ago or so, when I started a whole new life as a single mom, I told myself that I would always follow my gut. And I didn't. I followed my heart, I followed my head, but I didn't follow my gut. And that's why this decision was so hard. But this time I have older children, and they were able to like look at me straight in the eye and say, "It's time, Mom." Not that I listen to everything they say, but they know me pretty well. They do know my heart, and they do know my head. And when your heart and your head match your gut, that's everything, right? So in this new year, I am going to follow my gut, and I just can't wait to share with you what's next. And I want you to remember to listen to your gut. And we're going to get more into that after the break. So stay with us. I'll be back in a few minutes to talk more about gut instincts and why we shouldn't ignore them. See you in a few minutes.
All right, you're clear.
I'm hating this episode. I think it's terrible.
You're always your worst critic. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just like, I can't, like, I shouldn't have done this. I'm like, or I don't even know if I'll promote it. Do you even listen to these things when we're talking?
I try to. Sometimes I can't follow 100% because I have to like monitor volume and things like that. So it's like I'm looking at the sound waves, not listening at some points, but I try to as much as I can.
Right. My God. All right. So can we finish this early? Can we wrap it up early? What happens if we do that, or I
Yeah,
can't?
you can. This won't be rebroadcast at that point. It'll just be a upload for podcast only.
So wait. So what do you mean?
This wouldn't replay in the live slot anymore. It would be too short for the live slot. So it'd just be a podcast only, just upload only. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. We just replay last week's episode or whatever your last episode was in the replay slot.
So how much longer do I have?
We got about 16 minutes total for the show.
All right. Let me see what I can do.
Okay. If you end early, you end early. No biggie.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Coming back.
Okay.
You are listening to Fearlessly Authentic with Jody Harrison Bauer. We'd love to hear from you with any questions or comments you may have. Send an email to info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. That's info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. Now, back to Fearlessly Authentic.
Hey, everybody, it's Jody. Welcome back to Fearlessly Authentic. I've been talking about retiring and my retirement and recreating and following my gut instincts and being scared to make those changes. And it's not luck. This is not my first rodeo, you guys. I have been scared to do almost everything my entire life. And it wasn't until I got divorced that was the scariest thing that I did. And ever since then, and it's been a long time, I have taken risks, and it's been scary, but with every risk, I've learned something and I've grown as a person. And one thing I can tell you is that if something is not working for you, which wasn't my situation here, 33 years of training, it was just time to start a new book. Okay, not a chapter, but just time to start a new book. Because 33 years is a long time. That's a long damn book. That's a Bible almost, right? That is long. That is a very, very long time. So this is the next book I'm writing, literally and figuratively, and all of the other stuff that I'm going to throw out to you in the next bunch of shows and on social media. And so if you don't follow me on social media, I'm on every single platform as Jody Harrison Bauer. So it's always, always, always scary to try something new. And one of the things that I talk about on Instagram and TikTok is to not let your age ever define who you are, and not let your age stop you from doing the things that you want to do. So whether you are in a job or you own a business or you're in a relationship, like I said at the beginning of the show, and you are not, well, I didn't say this at the beginning of the show. I didn't say if you're not happy with it, but if you are unhappy or unfulfilled, look, at the end of the day, if you feel depleted by a relationship, then you need to leave. And one of the things that has caused me to slow down is that I was always afraid to really listen to my gut, which is what we were talking about before the break. Listen to my gut when it was time to end something, whether it was a relationship, a friendship, a marriage, or a job. Now, usually with every job that I've had, there's been a reason. I had a baby, 33 years in the business. Now it's time to start something new. But follow your gut. Don't let your heart or your head stop you. And what was stopping me from retiring early was the fact that I felt my ladies couldn't live without me. And as I mentioned, they will be able to live without me, because I've given them the foundations of fitness, wellness, health that they can bring anywhere and take anywhere they want at any stage and at any age of their life. And so I'm excited about being 61 and starting new things. I'm excited about being on the show every single week. I am overwhelmed with emotion. So if I'm a little all over the place today, please excuse me. But this is the first Jewish New Year that my mom won't be with me. And I know that she is looking down at me. We all hope, right, that our loved ones are looking down at us when we are making big changes in our life. And she always told me to just go for it. My dad was the one who was like more of the scaredy cat and would say, well, I don't know, think about this, think about it. So I had one parent was one extreme, one parent was the other extreme. My dad would be like, I don't know, let's overthink this. And my mom would be like, no, do it, do it, do it. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I think as I've grown older, I have figure things out for myself. And I there needs to be a little bit of that planning, and everything can't be super spontaneous, but you can't overthink things either. So the fear that I had that my clients couldn't live without me was really, I was just afraid to leave them. And I know they're all okay without me. And actually I was out for dinner with one of my clients last night, and she was talking about the great foundation that she came from with the training she had at Jody Fit. So thank you for that. That really meant a lot to me. And the comments that I'm getting from the emails and so on are meaning so much to me. So I'm very, very excited about this next book in my life. When I say book, not chapter, because it's not going to be another chapter. It's going to be a really, really big book. And I do plan on writing this book and all of the other things. And this new chapter in my book, the first one to start, will be to just think and be still. So that will be the first chapter in my book of Jody Harrison Bauer, age 61, starting something new, is to just be still, not to rush. I think this is the first time I am not going to be rushing anywhere, probably since I started working after I got out of college, because I was always rushing. So I don't even know what it's going to be like to get up in the morning and not rush. So it's going to be important for me to create that structure in my life, because we do need structure. I need structure. So I need to have a to-do list and structure in my day, because if I'm not structured, I'll get nothing done. So that's really important for me. But listening, I can't tell you how important it is for you to really trust your gut. And it's scary as hell to just trust your gut, because your head and your heart are going, wait, no, wait, no, 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 I don't want to do this. So celebrating me, it's hard for me to look back and go, you go, girl, you did a great job. That's hard for me. And I think it's hard for a lot of people to say, I did a really good job. Like, I know I did a really good job, but it's celebrating me. And I do have some friends who like, good for you, celebrate you. This is a time for celebration. And then some people will be like, oh, like, no, I do want to celebrate. So it's been that finding that balance of celebrating and morning. And I think I've done the morning. I think I'm really ready to celebrate. Really, really give myself a high five and really celebrate. And I don't think it will dawn on me until next week. So I'm excited about starting something new at 61. And let me tell you guys, if you ever told me that I would be in this place at 61 and telling you that I'm starting something new again, I would tell you that no way, that would not be me. I couldn't do it. But I do feel that everything feels aligned and it feels like the right time to be doing things. There's something special about the fall and having that cooler weather on us. I live on the East Coast, so I have the seasons change, and there's something about the change of seasons. We always talk about, well, there's been a change of seasons, and with the seasons we change and so on and so forth. But I really do feel that celebrating Rosh Hashanah next week, bringing in the new year, bringing in new goals, new thoughts, and being excited about the future and celebrating all the gains that I've had, and just being by myself for a little while will send me off into the right direction, which I already know is going. And I have so many wonderful people in my life that are excited for me to start this new time in my life. But there are parts of me that, you know, are still thinking about, well, wait a minute, this is all that I've done. Can I do it? And I think finally I'm not struggling with the confidence. I'm not struggling with the self-esteem. I'm not struggling with any of those things. I'm really, really standing in my truth and in my power. And I am being fearless and authentic to me. And when I ask people at the end of the show every single week, what does fearlessly authentic mean to them? I get different answers all the time. And when I think about being fearlessly authentic, it's sort of like what I'm talking about in the show, that trusting that I need to trust my gut. That is the fear. So when I'm listening to my head, that's the fear stopping. When I listen to my gut, I know it's time to go. So being fearlessly authentic to me means to trust my gut, not listen to my head very much, and stay true to myself. So if I'm a little weird to other people, I'm okay with that now. I wasn't always okay with that. So hell yeah, I'm retiring. I'm recreating. I'm going to be throwing new stuff out at you. I can't wait for us to talk again next week. I hope you've enjoyed this show. I'm so excited that I shared all of this with you. I needed to let it out and share it. And if you are at the point where you want to make a change in your life, I'm calling it retirement because I'm retiring from the fitness world, but it isn't retirement by any means or any stretch of the imagination. But if you are not doing what you love to do and it doesn't bring you joy and it depletes you, if it's not bringing you joy and if it depletes you, you need to leave. Job, relationship, friendship, any of those things. Please, please remember that. And with me, with my fitness studio, it wasn't that. It was still bringing me joy. It wasn't depleting me, but it was time after 33 years to start something new and be able to have more of a global impact and help so many more people in a different way. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. You'll be the first to know what I do next. But I'm going to take some me time and some quiet time and some still time. But I'll leave you with a few things to think about if I didn't already expand upon them. Listen to your gut. Don't let fear stop you from doing the things that you want to do at any stage and at any age in your life. And always stay true to yourself. You can be different for different people, but stay true to who you are. Don't let somebody dim your light because it's too bright for them. If you find yourself being quiet or changing a little bit for the people that you're around, those aren't your people. Trust me, I know this. And that is the way we need to stay fearless and authentic and live a fearlessly authentic life. So until we talk next week, I want you to have an amazing week and remember to be fearlessly authentic. And retirement is just a new word for recreation. I'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye. And don't forget, I'm on YouTube also at Jody Harrison Bauer, so you can see what I look like, what my guests look like, and you can sit in on our conversations. So I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.